I will be chasing them down for as long as I can.
Amazing. And just before I let you go, one question, a prediction if you don't mind. On the 19th of July, Daniel Dubois versus Oleksandr Usyk. How do you see that one going?
This guy is a beast. He's a good fighter. He's a hard fighter to beat. And I think he'll learn from the mistakes he made in the first fight against Usyk, and it will give him a hard fight. Look, he has the tools to win that fight.
Amir Khan has ignited headlines by calling Daniel Dubois a reborn beast, hungry for revenge. He doesn't hold back in hyping Dubois' transformation, but beyond the talk, the reality is far harsher. While Khan fires up the drama, Usyk remains eerily silent, and that silence is more dangerous than any prediction. Beneath the surface, one truth lingers. Dubois still lacks the elite-level mental edge. This isn't redemption. It's shaping up to be a rerun of devastation.
Daniel Dubois against Oleksandr Usyk. Realistically, has he got any chance? We've got 30 seconds.
Of course he has. Look, it's a tough ask, of course. You know, the thing with Usyk is he doesn't depend on his power to knock you out. He depends on his skill. That's why it's a tough ask, because he's going to box rings around you if you let him. Dubois, good luck. Don Charles, good luck. Great British boxing, good luck. We potentially might have a heavyweight championship back on our soil.
As Masatuma grimly warned, Usyk's ruthless ring IQ will once again expose every flaw in Dubois' arsenal. Under the brightest lights, it's hard to see a different outcome. Anthony Joshua, never one to sugarcoat reality, delivers his own cold take. While he admits anything can happen in boxing, Joshua is clear. Usyk isn't just powerful, he's a surgical technician in the ring. He credits Don Charles for sharpening Dubois' approach, but warns that Usyk's unmatched footwork, pressure, and psychological tactics will suffocate any hope of an upset. Alexander Cassio.
I think Daniel Dubois, he's on a roll. He's coming off of a massive win against AJ. Usyk's also on a massive roll. So I think that fight's going to come down to mindset.
Amplifies this threat, declaring that Usyk is coming not just to win, but to dismantle Dubois. This isn't just a test, it's a masterclass in destruction. Dubois isn't stepping into a redemption arc, he's walking into a calculated nightmare. Chris Eubank Jr., however, flips the script, boldly backing Dubois as an unstoppable force, especially if he can carry the momentum from dismantling Joshua. But here's the twist. Usyk hasn't lost a step. This battle goes beyond brute force. It's about mental warfare under pressure. Eubank insists the real war will be fought in the mind, where focus can crush stature. That's
the trainer says to the other fighter and says, you're a cheat and you're not a God-fearing man and you're a liar. And, I think this is just, absolutely insane.
Sparks the burning question. Can Dubois' raw aggression overcome Usyk's cerebral dominance and pinpoint control? One misstep could plunge Dubois into disaster. Both men are locked in on greatness, but only one leaves the ring with their legacy intact. The moment of truth is approaching fast, and fans would be wise not to blink. This is more than a boxing match. It's a high-stakes collision of styles, wills, and mental strength. Meanwhile, Russ Anber unleashes fury after Don Charles's chaotic press conference, where Charles accused Usyk of cheating. Anber calls it a meltdown, a sign that Dubois' corner is already cracking under pressure. Instead of preparing, they're spiraling.
Oleksandr Usyk is the best fighter in boxing, period. Of this generation, what he's done at cruiserweight, what he's done at heavyweight, what he's done to all the other British fighters, to do the double over AJ, the double over...
Whirling into wild accusations, exposing deep-rooted fear. As Usyk stays calm and clinical, it becomes clear he holds the mental edge. Unless Dubois finds more than just raw power, this night could end in heartbreak. The countdown is on. Will Dubois rise or crumble again? Adam Smith drops a bombshell, declaring Alexander Usyk the absolute pinnacle of modern boxing. From dominating the cruiserweight division to dismantling heavyweight giants like Anthony Joshua, Usyk's rise has been nothing short of legendary. Smith emphasizes that consecutive wins over top British fighters have made Usyk nearly untouchable. But here's the real twist. If Usyk defeats Tyson Fury, his legacy becomes...
People are talented, some people are dedicated to the sport, they're not consistent. Or I think the biggest factor is they're not confident in themselves, or they just ain't mentally prepared to be a boxer.
Becomes untouchable, cementing him as the undisputed king of this era. Duke McKenzie echoes that sentiment, calling Usyk a living rewrite of boxing history. No one, he says, matches Usyk's blend of skill, ring IQ, and mental sharpness. Usyk isn't just competing, he's redefining the sport itself, proving with each fight that he operates on a different level. But not everyone is convinced. Miles Satuma delivers a scathing reality check, tearing down the narratives surrounding both Usyk and Daniel Dubois. He brands Usyk a slick trickster, more style than substance, lacking the grit and heart of a true champion. At the same time, Satuma criticizes...
I believe that I win. I feel I can win.
Criticizes Dubois as a powerhouse built on shaky foundations, fragile mental strength, and a weak boxing brain. According to Satuma, both men are products of media hype, overpromoted and underprepared for the brutal demands of elite heavyweight boxing. He argues Usyk's technical brilliance is overstated, while Dubois' raw force won't stand up to real tactical pressure. In the end, Satuma claims both are destined to crumble when faced with true championship pedigree. Oleksandr Usyk doesn't mince words. He enters the ring with a singular goal: victory. There's no need for flashy antics or over-the-top hype. His quiet confidence alone is enough to unnerve those who dare to doubt him. While Daniel Dubois arrives armed with raw power and aggression,
class act, a mature individual because he's older and wiser, comes from a completely different background. But Daniel Dubois is growing into himself. This will be one hell of a fight. This will be a proper fight, like all of the Usyk fights have been.
Usyk counters with ice-cold focus, tactical brilliance, and unmatched experience. Having already conquered some of the biggest names in boxing, Usyk's vision stretches beyond this bout. As July 19th approaches, the question lingers. Can Dubois stand against a man who is not only physically undefeated, but mentally unbreakable? This fight is more than just a test of strength. It's a clash of intelligence, resilience, and will. Usyk's legacy is on the line, and he's ready to prove that brute force alone cannot defeat true mastery. Simon Jordan adds intensity to the build-up, calling Usyk
different machine.
Self-confidence will be...
And time waits for no man, as the saying goes. I just think that this is a fight it's exciting. It's a good fight. You've got to make Usyk the favourite, but it's a fight that Daniel Dubois can definitely win.
Usyk, a seasoned elite-level operator whose maturity and wisdom define championship greatness. Yet Jordan also acknowledges Dubois' growth, saying the young powerhouse is finally stepping into his identity, both as a man and a fighter. He makes it clear, this will be no walk in the park for Usyk. Fans should brace for a brutal, no-holds-barred war, perhaps the toughest challenge Usyk has ever faced. Carl Frosch stokes the flames further, portraying Dubois as a reborn monster poised to shock the world. But beneath the praise, there's a hint of desperation. Frosch pushes the narrative of transformation, yet even he can't ignore the colossal shadow Usyk casts. This isn't just a title defense, it's a defining moment for both fighters. With the heavy...
We saw a perfectly legitimate match that was not scored by the referee. He chose, for whatever reason, he could have been conned into it by Usyk, which makes it a cheat.
Weight division in flux, Dubois could shake the world, or be swallowed whole by Usyk's calculated brilliance. One thing is certain. When the bell rings, boxing fans better not blink. Daniel Dubois is being sold as a serious threat, but the truth keeps bleeding through. Yes, he's improved. Yes, he's stronger, sharper, and more focused. But standing across from him is Oleksandr Usyk, a fighter who isn't just experienced, he's elite, a master of the craft. The contradiction is clear. While Dubois may be stepping into his prime, Usyk remains the dominant force, sitting comfortably at the peak of modern boxing. Karl Froch continues to hype Dubois, painting him as a reborn monster. But that praise rings hollow, as if Froch knows deep down this isn't a clash of equals. Dubois isn't just entering a fight, he's walking into Usyk's psychological torture chamber, a place where mental strength, timing, and tactical genius
I feel he knows and he's grown in confidence since that. I mean, he's in a great place, Dubois, and he can win that fight. He's a big, natural heavyweight.
Suffocate raw aggression. The question isn't whether Dubois is powerful, it's whether he can survive the storm. Adding fuel to the fire, Don Charles delivered a blistering tirade against Usyk. He accused the champion of blatant cheating in their previous bout, claiming that a clean, decisive punch from Dubois was ignored, intentionally. Charles believes the referee was either manipulated or complicit, allowing Usyk to turn a fair fight into a controversial spectacle. According to him, it wasn't just ring smarts, it was dishonesty that damaged the sport's integrity. Now, Charles insists Dubois is returning not just with power, but with purpose. No more mind games, no more manipulation. This time, Dubois is coming for redemption, and he's bringing raw, unrelenting force with surgical precision. Mark Tibbs joins the chorus, hyping Dubois as a reborn destroyer, and even comparing him to Tyson Fury. He points to Dubois' newfound maturity, confidence, and aggression, suggesting he's finally ready to crack Usyk's ironclad defense. But here's the reality check. Hype, size, and emotion aren't enough. Usyk isn't just a fighter. He's a strategic genius, a cold technician sharpened by wars with the best. While Dubois' camp leans on passion and power, Usyk relies on precision, timing, and championship pedigree. As July 19th approaches, the stakes couldn't be higher. Will Dubois rise and silence the doubters? Or will Usyk once again remind the world why he's untouchable? Your turn. Can Dubois defy the odds? Or is Usyk simply operating on a level no one else can reach? Drop your thoughts below.